Here on Campus Unmasked, we sometimes get our hands on crazy courses, like this one literally called Angry White Male Studies, I reported on a few days ago. But very rarely do we actually get to take a peek at some of the test questions, essay prompts, etc., which, if you think about it, is really how teachers and professors exercise power over their students.
You will listen to, believe, and repeat my opinion, or you'll get a bad grade and it will be tougher to get a good job.
Well, we've got one of those test questions today, one about a runaway slave that was apparently so traumatic, Massachusetts decided to throw it out. Let's check it out. 10th grade students in Massachusetts have been taking a statewide test with an essay prompt based on Pulitzer Prize-winning book The Underground Railroad. The prompt asks students to write an essay from the perspective of a white woman who doesn't know whether she should help a fugitive slave. So, seems legit and actually pretty educational. In order to really channel the thought process of someone in the 1800s, students will need to familiarize themselves with the culture of that time period, when there were quite a few people who said, hey, slavery is the established tradition, but is it morally right? But that's clearly not what the education establishment in Massachusetts was thinking. The Massachusetts Teachers Association wanted the whole test to be pulled, and their president said it was traumatic for students, so this group of educators had to conduct counseling in their classrooms as a way of helping their students cope. The Massachusetts commissioner ultimately said students who have already answered the question will not have it scored, and students who take the makeup test this week will be instructed not to answer that question. Okay, but what about students who did well on that question? Like I said, this kind of prompt tests your knowledge of historical culture, but it's also an exercise in empathy. You're stepping into the shoes of someone who maybe had some nasty opinions, and you're trying to understand how they got there. You're humanizing them. Of course, this kind of approach is antithetical to the modern left, which not only thinks you, dear viewer who's likely right of center, are wrong, but tries as hard as possible to demonize you. Meanwhile, who knows what kind of questions are acceptable and never make the news. I reported a couple years ago on an Ohio middle school with a history test that prompted students with the quote, Muslims showed tolerance by, followed by the choices A, accepting other people's religious beliefs, B, converting others to Islam, C, allowing only Christians to practice their religion, and D, conquering the Berbers. The correct answer there was apparently Muslims showed tolerance by A, accepting other people's religious beliefs. For Campus Unmasked, I'm Rob Shimshock. If you like this video and support our mission, please make sure to comment and subscribe. If something happens on your campus and you'd like us to investigate, send us details using the form on campusunmasked.com.